Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is nutrition, and we're going to discuss family dieting. So recently, a listener of the podcast reached out and got a nutrition and kind of training program for his wife. And I thought that was super duper awesome, tons of fun. So we basically got to write kind of at home workout that they had with the equipment that they had available to them. So it was like sets of dumbbells, the flat bench, I believe, is pretty much what we made the whole workout out of. So it gave them 5 workouts a week in 4 weeks, and then they can repeat that actually up to 12 weeks. So it's 12 weeks of programming for exercises, and there's tutorial videos, progressions on how to get better over time, all the good stuff. And then we did a diet for her. And the diet idea was to eat healthy in general, of course, and then lose some weight but build some muscle in her weakest areas due to the stimulus of the weight training. So what had been happening before was they had been doing exercise like workouts, but the workouts weren't causing enough muscle damage to where they weren't getting the body shape and change that they really wanted. It was basically just calories being burned, and then they weren't sure how to eat, when to eat, what to eat, because everything kind of seemed kind of slow paced. And in general, what was happening was they just had a caloric loss every day, was what they were trying to do. They were trying to move around and exercise to just burn calories up, and then they were trying to eat less calories, hoping that would burn body fat. Well, what we had to do was make an adjustment to where the weight training was aggressive enough that it caused muscular damage. That damage then demands calories from the body to repair itself. And if you feed it enough protein, it'll repair itself by improving the muscle size in the weakest areas of kind of each individual muscle group. So that improves overall shape. You're not going to eat an enormous amount of excess calories to where the shape increase doesn't turn into like an overall turn into a massive bodybuilder type increase. It's just small little increases here and there in the smallest areas. So for example, you might, with proper exercise selection and structuring, you can target muscular damage in the back side of the shoulder to give someone a more uprighted postural look. You can also target more, say, muscles down by the knees versus muscles at the hip to kind of give the thigh a more balanced look rather than like a cone where the person has thick upper thigh but no muscle by their knee. So you can do exercise selections to specifically create muscle damage in the areas that you want to improve the shape in. But then you eat enough protein to get that muscle change, but you don't eat enough calories to where you're going to get overall muscular growth. So this is how someone can improve their shape, but actually still get leaner over time. So it gives the appearance of getting leaner while getting bigger, and they didn't really get bigger muscles. They just got more rounded, more defined, more toned, quote unquote. So it's basically what everybody wants, is they want to lose body fat and look like they got leaner by building muscle, but really all you're doing is just reorganizing and better balancing the muscle. So that's what we did. She seemed happy in her program, so she decided to do it for her husband. So she actually then purchased like a training program in nutrition for her husband. And I thought it was great idea because now they're going to be sharing the experience. They're going to be working together. They both are fired up. They have brand new plans that are perfectly personalized for them. So, for example, I took the same set of dumbbells. They have adjustable dumbbells, I believe, in a flat bench, but I made workouts more specific to what the guy would have wanted for his physique. So even though they have the same equipment, they have very different workouts. Some things are going to be similar because we're trying to target similar areas of the body, but their overall structures might be different. So, for example, if you have limited weight in dumbbells, a male might not be able to do a really heavy chest press because the dumbbells don't go heavy enough. However, if you were to do chest flies and then go into presses, the flies pre-exhaust the chest and they can actually make the lightweight dumbbells you have feel heavy enough when you go into the presses. So we created workouts that were specific to his needs, and then I took the diet that I used for his wife and I modified it to where it worked for him as well. So what I wanted to talk about in this podcast was how do like couples or families diet together. In general, what we did was they both work out in the morning. So we've talked about meal timing before and the importance of pre-workout calories and making sure your body has fuel in it before you exercise. So that way you're not just burning off muscle and kind of jacking up your cortisol for the whole day and creating a huge deficit. So they both have a little bit of sugar before they work out. That gives their body a little bit of something to burn off rather than just spike cortisol. And it actually gives them better energy. They have better workouts. They create a better kind of stimulus from the training that promotes a greater caloric burn and greater muscular recovery demands because they were able to have better energy and create better damage during the workout. So fueling your workouts to have great kick-ass workouts actually nets a benefit in the long run above whatever calories would be needed before the workout to fuel the workout. So you may take 100 calories to have a great workout, but that great workout's going to cause you to burn an extra 300 or 400. Whereas if you didn't have the 100 calories beforehand, you'd have no energy, you'd kind of feel like crap halfway through, not a really good stimulus, and you don't get all the calorie burn during the recovery phase. So that was the first thing we did. They have some sugar before they work out. Then their meal after the workout is sometime within the hour after the workout. They are going to aim to have protein and a carbohydrate. The carbohydrate is to help replenish energy stores quickly, so we can put energy into their muscles in the form of glycogen and glucose. So it gives them kind of sugary, it's not sugar foods, it's carbohydrates, but carbohydrates when broken down in the body turn into glucose. A little bit of science kind of crap there, but they're eating healthy food. So it's protein like eggs or meat, or they can do a protein powder if they wanted, but I prefer whole foods. The carbohydrate can be oats, it can be bagel, it can be potatoes, rice, any pasta, whatever. So it's kind of a healthy, slower digesting carbohydrate, but it's a faster digesting energy source than fats. So this gives them the energy then to not only recover from their workout, but start into the activities of the day. They then have a kind of like a mid-morning thing. They have a lunch, they have a mid-afternoon, they have a supper. Now, on their training days, they have more carbohydrates because we want to replenish the energy that was used, the carbohydrates that were used during the workout, during the day. So we want to put carbohydrates into their system during the day so that way they're not running on empty and feeling like crap all day. So they're going to feel really good, have tons of recovery, great day of energy after the workout. On non-training days, they are going to focus more on fats rather than carbohydrates because we don't have to replace any missing glycogen on a non-training day because they haven't trained. And the fats are slower digesting, and they'll help prevent or promote less caloric surplus at any point in time of the day. So therefore, they might get a higher degree of fat burning on those days. So in general, what we did to set up the time, to set up the diets to be correct for both of them, is we allowed there to be time variability. So for example, the meal after the workout should be sometime within an hour after the workout. The next meal might be sometime between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. The next meal might be sometime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. The next meal might be sometime between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. So it's kind of like that where we gave them windows. So since they have different jobs, they have different life demands, maybe one person can eat at 1 o'clock, but the other person can't eat till 1:45. So there's no need when you think of dieting to set specific time frames if you cannot even meet them. So if someone's like, well, I'm supposed to eat at 1, but I can't eat till 1:30, well, then eat at 1:30. What the hell? Like, if you don't have a choice, eat at 1:30. So too often people create really kind of strict rules, which are unnecessary, completely unnecessary. So meal timing can just be done in chunks of windows and just making sure that you don't entirely miss meals throughout the day and that you have some degree of consistency from day to day to the point where you don't have 2 meals one day, 5 the next day, 3 the next day, 12 the next day. So we want to have more consistency in our timing and our meal kind of frequency per day. Then what we did to allow them to follow kind of a similar style diet is their food selections are the same. We did not include a diet, because it's not necessary, where we specified the exact food that needs to be eating at every meal. So for example, if they want to have a meat or a protein source at lunch, it can be chicken, it can be beef, it can be pork, it can be ham, it can be whatever the hell else people eat, turkey, really just anything. And there are parameters within the diet of how much to have and which maybe are like the better sources. So we have lean meat sources separated from fatty meat sources. So for example, if they're supposed to have a lean protein and a carbohydrate, we wouldn't want to have steak because there's a lot of fat in steak. And then all of a sudden they have all the fat from steak, which is energy. Then they have the carbohydrates from that meal, which is too much energy, and they don't lose body fat. Likewise, sometimes people just have lean meats and then they have a vegetable. So they'll have like a lean meat and like say asparagus, and there's no energy in there. So the lean meat doesn't have any fat to give energy, and the vegetable doesn't have enough carbohydrates to give energy. So they are thinking they're eating healthy, but really they're under eating severely, and they're going to feel like shit later in the day and or have big cravings later at night. And they're going to overeat at night. When simply if they would take a lean meat plus a carbohydrate and add vegetables, the person will have much more better energy throughout the day, better mood, and they won't have the cravings in the evening. So ensuring that you have an energy source of carbs or fats per meal, but not both and not neither, helps a ton for daily energy and also to control kind of cravings and desires for food. So the next thing we did was, since we want them to have kind of similar food selections, similar food times, but they are different people, we have the amounts, their serving sizes are different. So they pretty much get to have the same kind of options of food, so they can cook their meals together. But they're going to have different amounts of food because they are different people. So for example, in this case, the guy is more muscular. So, and the workouts are going to create more muscular damage demand because he has more muscle. So therefore, he's going to need more food. Just overall general basal metabolic rate, like how many calories he needs to be alive, he needs more than she does because he weighs more. And then also his workout recovery demands are greater. Doesn't mean he trained harder than she did, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying since he has more muscle, he can create more muscle damage, which then creates a higher caloric demand for recovery. So therefore, he gets to eat more. That's the way it works. The bigger you are and the harder you work, the more you get to eat. That kind of way it works. So that's how we kind of do a diet together for a family or a couple. Is you have open time frames, so that way it's not specific to one person's schedule but not the other. You have open food selections, that way you have preferences. If one person likes potatoes but the other one doesn't, they don't both have to eat potatoes. If one person likes chicken but the other one doesn't, they don't both have to eat chicken or fish or whatever else. So having categorical food selections is much better because it allows you to have more preferential kind of choices to your individual desires and wants and needs. Then the amounts do have to be specific. They do have to be different because you do have to control overall caloric intake. So if we think about what we discussed in podcast number 41, Diet Right, What Matters Most, we talk about this all the time, is the most important components of any diet. The first most important thing is calories because it determines the direction of a diet. If you eat super healthy food but you eat too much of it, you will gain weight. If you eat ridiculously unhealthy food but you eat half the calories you really actually need, you will lose weight. So calories determine the direction of a diet. So if each of these people want to lose body fat, but they want to lose it in a sustainable, controlled way and still have enough calories around for the muscle shaping that they desire, then we do have to be very specific towards their caloric intake per person. So that's where we have some individual difference, is in the amounts. The timing windows are similar because they have similar lifestyles. They both work out in the morning. They both have kind of a normal, 9 to 5-ish type jobs. And then they're home in the evening. So it makes sense that their meal times would be similar, but not identical. They also have similar food selections because it makes making meals and everything so much easier to know that you can have some variability and some choices per individual. So not one person's forced to eat some kind of crap they don't like that the other person has to eat. And we have specificity in the amount. So that way each person can get their best results. So having open concepts allows for personal choices and variability. But having the specifics where you need them, such as the amounts, helps ensure that each person makes progress. You can also use, what we do is adherence charts, so that way each person can track how well they're adhering to the diet. So if one person's making better progress than the other, they can look and say, hey, well, you know what? The person making better progress only makes 3 or 4 mistakes a week. The other person makes 10. Let's not blame the diet. Let's get a little more discipline. So adherence charts helps very well. And then, like we said, the specifications of food amounts are specific enough that each person can get good progress. So one of the things I think happens too often when couples diet together There's a lot of this, like layers to this. Like there's many more than just what I'm about to say. So maybe I'll have to come back and make a podcast. Like for example, why it seems that men lose weight faster than women. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to unravel on that. So I'm going to skip that for now and just tease you with that topic. If you are interested in that topic, though, by the way, shoot us an email, brutalironjim@gmail.com, and let me know. So that way I'll make that podcast. But one of the things that happens too often is people try to be too perfect. So we've talked about in the past couple recent podcasts about how if people are about 90% correct in their diet, that's freaking amazing, and that's pretty much what the best you can expect from anybody and from yourself, and you will still make great progress. If you're 85% accurate, you'll make some good progress, but it'll be kind of slow. And if you're less than 80% accurate, you're not going to really make much progress. Now, how do you know if you're 80, 85, or 90? Well, we have adherence charts. So email us at brutalironjim@gmail.com and we'll send you the adherence chart. What it does is it shows you every meal that you should have throughout the week. You're going to put a check if you get it right. You're going to put an X if you eat something but you ate the wrong thing, so such as pizza rather than like chicken and rice, and a blank if you miss a meal. Well, if you add up the number of mistakes that you make, okay, well, good meals, like good meals divided by how many meals you're supposed to have in total will give you your percentage, I believe. So that gives you the percent of how well you are adhering to the program. If you're under 80%, don't blame the program, get better discipline. Read books, do whatever you got to do, but focus on discipline, not on changing the diet. Now, if the diet style is so insane and restrictive that that's causing you to be under 80%, then yes, you do have to look at the diet. So most often, I would say probably just better discipline for most people. However, some people pick really dumbass diet styles that are unnecessary, ridiculously unnecessary, and then they can't follow them because it's just a ridiculously stupid style. So if you're under 80%, you're not sure what to fix, okay, email us. I'm going to send you the adherence chart first of all, so then you'll do that for a week or two, and then you'll send me the adherence chart, and then I'll tell you which you need to focus on. So that'll help. But don't try to be perfect. Just because you mess up a meal a day for an entire week doesn't mean that you ruined the week. You ruined just one meal. You're still going to have the whole rest of the damn day right. So don't beat yourself up over small mistakes here or there. That happens. The big thing is just to make progress over time. You want to get better at adherence over time. Don't hold yourself to being perfect all or nothing. Well, if I can't get it right, I might as well not do it at all. That is stupid. And nowhere in life will that apply very well. It's better to do something of something than to do nothing of something. So it's better to do even 70% of a diet better than just eating, fast food and sugar and candy and bull crap all day. So it's better to at least get some meals right than no meals right. So don't hold yourself to a perfect standard. It's not possible. It's not even necessary. 90% correctness, 90% adherence will still get you great results. Okay, so real quick, what do you do with kids? Kids are just tiny little humans, so they still need all the same food parents do. Don't feed your kids shit and then wonder why when they're 30 and 40 years old they don't know how to eat healthy either. So teach them what you're learning. Have them eat healthy foods. If they want to have a treat here or there, just make sure they already have their healthy food for the day, and the treat's like an extra bonus thing here or there. So that would just be it. So children do not need anything like imaginably like different. So if you're having, chicken and asparagus, your kids can eat chicken and asparagus. If they need more calories because they're growing or they're in sports, then, supplement to the meal, add more. Maybe add some potatoes or something like that. But they don't need to eat garbage. They don't need to eat, snack food and candy crap all the time. So your job as a parent is to raise a functional adult, not some jackass or goofball that we all have to deal with later on in life. So one of the best things you can do as a parent is actually teach them what healthy food is. And if you don't know, reach out, and you're at least doing this by listening to the podcast. You're at least putting in some effort for sure. But don't be afraid to tell your kids, no to candy every now and then, but also don't be afraid to let them have it every now and then. Try to teach them not to think of food as some kind of emotional connection or reward. Just have them know it's fuel. So you need protein to fix and fuel and repair your body. You need carbs and fats to fuel your body. Carbs when you're more active, fats when you're less active. That's it. And then don't get in a big deal about it. Make sure they eat healthy food, then supplement with fun stuff on top if they need it. Okay, so if you have any questions about setting up a family diet, email us at brutalironjim@gmail.com and we'll help you. So like we did with this family, they have kids, by the way, the husband and wife that I'm talking about. So it's a great diet they can all use. They can all follow well, all be healthy and happy. So if you are uncertain of how to put that together for yourself, that's what we can do for you. So email us. And then hopefully some of the information we shared here today can help kind of get you the ball rolling, help you understand that it can be done. You can have diets together as a family. It just needs to have some open concepts in regards to timing and food selection choices. But then you do have to have the specifics in terms of amounts. Okay, if you need anything at all to help this information be useful, please reach out to us. Our email is brutalirongym@gmail.com. And thank you for the husband and wife who signed up for the programs. That was super awesome, and I appreciate your support so we can keep this podcast up and running. So thank you for everyone who participates in some type of service. It really does help kind of pay towards the cost of hosting the podcast. So thank you very, very, very much. Okay, if you like the podcast, please share it with family and friends. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. Also, if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. The podcast is for you, so we want to know what you want to learn about. So if you can tell us, you're welcome to at our email at brutalirongym@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.